In this video, I'm going to give you 6 legendary footballers who were awful managers. Let's get started. What is up, everybody? Jacob Hughes here with Amateur Hour Sports, where we give you raw and unfiltered sporting content Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So if it is your first time here with me today and you like what you see, be sure to subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports for more content just like this. As you can see, I've committed to my quarantine cut for this video. Lots of great players in the history of football like to think that they can go on and become great managers because, well, they're great players, just take it into management. And to a lot of players, sure, that does work. You look at Frank Rijkaard, Johan Cruyff, those two names come to mind immediately among others. But for some great players, it just doesn't transcend into management. I'm going to give you 6 high-profile cases of that. Starting with number 6 on the list, Ruud Gullit. Ruud Gullit was legendary over the course of his career and has improved that legendary status with his unbelievable FIFA cards over the last few years, but his playing career was phenomenal with the Dutch team and the AC Milan team, among others, but it didn't transcend into management where it started with Chelsea. He was appointed as player manager of Chelsea back when those were a lot more common. Appointed player manager in 1996, and he saw a bit of success in his first season with Chelsea. In fact, a bit of success in his whole time at Chelsea. In his first season there, he guided them to the FA Cup. Along with the FA Cup trophy, they finished 6th in the Premier League, which was pretty good for Chelsea at the time before the money started rolling in. The second season was also going well. Chelsea were 2nd in the Premier League. But Ruud Gullit got into a bit of a disagreement with the board and was eventually sacked. The board claimed that he was arrogant and that the entire time he was there, they didn't like him. And we're going to see a bit of a trend form with that. From his Chelsea departure, he went on to manage Newcastle United. Although there were plenty of poor results in the league in his first season in Newcastle, he did guide them to the FA Cup final, where they did eventually lose, but a bit of a feat to get there. Over the summer, though, he got into humongous, well-known disagreements with club hero Alan Shearer and the captain at the time, Rob Lee. And the spat with Rob Lee was so tremendous that he didn't even give the captain at the time a squad number for the next season, and he gave the number 7 shirt to incoming signing Kieran Dyer. 5 games into the season, in a game against crosstown rivals, humongous rivals, Sunderland, he benched Alan Shearer, the club legend, the highest goal scorer in Premier League history, as well as Duncan Ferguson, his strike partner. Benched them both against crosstown rivals Sunderland in a 2-1 loss. 3 days later, he handed in his letter of resignation. It doesn't get better from here. He went on to manage Feyenoord. There's not much to say here. He was there for 1 season. They finished in a disappointing 4th place in the Eredivisie behind Ajax, PSV, and AZ Alkmaar. No trophies, not much excitement. The final club he managed, LA Galaxy. At the time, in 2008, he was the highest paid manager in MLS history. But the problem was he could never really adapt to North American soccer, the way they ran their league with it, the salary caps, the trading, the drafting of players introducing into the league. And to be honest, he was never that great a manager anyway. Before the season started, Ruud Gullit forced the board to purchase Celestine Babayaro. The Nigerian left-back thought he was going to a lavish, glamorous super club in Los Angeles, the one where David Beckham went the year before, but to his surprise, I don't know if he didn't know the MLS was not able to fund the lifestyle that Celestine Babayaro had thought he was going to get with LA Galaxy when he had to fly business class and share a hotel room. This showed in Babayaro's lack of motivation to train, and he eventually left the club without even playing a competitive match for them. Talk about a tone setter in your first season as manager. To the surprise of absolutely nobody, he got into a spat with club legend Landon Donovan, arguably the greatest player in MLS history, because of his managerial style and supposed lack of respect for the players. I would probably side with Landon Donovan given Ruud's history. In 2009, after failing to win 7 matches in a row, he resigned from LA Galaxy and nobody dared give him a contract after that. Number 5 on the list, Paul Ince. Legendary, a bit of a cult hero in his time with Manchester United, Inter Milan, as well as Liverpool, unfortunately. Paul Ince was a great player, whether it be for his club teams or for his country, except did not bring that into the management. He started his managerial career with Swindon Town, where he was a player manager. Again, this was a little bit more popular at the time, though he could not really fulfill his playing duties playing at that level with Swindon Town, so his contract was terminated by mutual consent, no problem. He then went to Macclesfield Town. By taking a step down, he could once again take a role of player manager, where he took over Macclesfield Town, who were rooted to the bottom of League 2, 7 points adrift of any other team, and miraculously, Paul Ince kept them up and staved them away from relegation. A win on final day secured their status in the league, and that got him a job with fellow League 2 team MK Dons. More success for Paul Ince here as he steered them to first place in League 2, and he also won the Football League trophy that year, beating out Grimsby at Wembley to get the trophy. His successes in the lower league got him a job with Premier League outfit Blackburn Rovers. This is the end of any sort of positivity coming out of Paul Ince's managerial career. In his 17 games with Blackburn, Ince won 3 of those games. Obviously, after such a torrid time, he was sacked, and Paul Ince claimed that the failure was because of the lack of financial backing from the board, though Ince spent over $10 million in the summer transfer window to bring in 3 different players. Because of this failure, he went back to MK Dons. He signed a 2-year deal at the start of the 2009-2010 season, and it was not as successful as the first time he was at MK Dons, as they finished to mid-table 13th place in League 1. To the surprise of many, he left at the end of the season without fulfilling his contract. But he returned to management in October 2010 to manage Notts County. At Notts County, Paul Ince was simply awful. By April of 2011, he had lost a club record 9 games in a row, and he left by mutual consent. His final managerial stint was at Blackpool. Paul Ince's son, Tom Ince, you've probably heard of him, played for Blackpool at this time, so Paul was typically watching Blackpool games to watch his son. He had spent over a year watching Blackpool games, and he was eventually given the managerial position at the back end of the 2012-2013 season. To start the 13-14 season, they won 5 of their first 6 games and drawing the other one, making it the best start in club history. But that was the last upside of his managerial career, as all in all in Blackpool, he won 12 of the 42 games that he was in charge for. Nobody would dare put him in that position again. Number 4 on the list, John Barnes. A bit of a Liverpool cult hero and a great player for England. He was also a part-time rapper on New Order's World Cup song for England in the 90s, World in Motion. In 1999, he was appointed as manager of Celtic. Long story short, after 8 months of struggling in the league and a League Cup loss to lower division Inverness Caledonian Thistle, he was sacked from the club, and to this day, Celtic fans deem him as arguably the worst manager in the club's history. Looking to revitalize his managerial career, he started managing Jamaica in the mid-2000s. In 2008, he won the Caribbean Cup, a tournament I did not know existed until this very moment. But again, this was to revitalize his managerial career, and he wanted to go back into club management. He was given the opportunity by Tranmere Rovers. Look, some people are just not cut out for management, and John Barnes is one of those people. In his first 14 games with Tranmere Rovers, he won 3 games. Him and his assistant Jason McAteer were given the nicknames by the players of Tranmere Rovers, Dumb and Dumber. After a run of 11 matches where they only saw 2 wins, he was sacked, and the final game of his managerial career was a 5-0 thrashing by Millwall. Catch me if you can, cause I'm the England man, and what you're looking at is the master plan. Probably should have come up with a better plan. Number 3 on the list, Gary Neville. He has only managed 1 team in his managerial career, and that team is Valencia. And for very good reason. His only coaching experience was as an assistant manager for the England national team. So it was a bit of a surprise to the Valencia fans when he was given the role as their manager. It also didn't help that he wasn't fluent in Spanish. In his first game in charge, he lost a Champions League group game to Lyon, which relegated Valencia to the Europa League position. He proceeded to win 0 of his first 8 La Liga matches, which was followed by a 7-0 thrashing by Barcelona in the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-final. Gary Neville finally won his first league match after 10 tries. In the Europa League round of 16, he was sent off in the second leg in a 2-1 win, albeit against Athletic Bilbao. However, the team lost on aggregate on away goals and were eliminated from the competition. After 3 wins in 16 league matches, Gary Neville was sacked, leaving Valencia 6 points away from relegation in 14th place. Valencia did not keep a single clean sheet in any of those matches. Number 2 on the list, Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer, the Newcastle legend, top scorer in Premier League history, opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to managing. While Newcastle's permanent manager, Joe Keener, was recovering from heart surgery, Alan Shearer took over for Newcastle in the final 8 games of a Premier League season, hoping to stave them away from relegation as they were already in the relegation zone. In those 8 games, there were 24 points available for Newcastle. Alan Shearer managed to get 5 of those points. 2 draws, 1 victory. A positive result on final day would have kept the Magpies up, but a Damien Duff own goal as the only goal of the game resulted in a 1-0 loss and Newcastle being doomed to the championship. And Shearer would never leave his punditry chair ever again. Number 1 on the list, Diego Maradona. Some people call him the greatest player of all time. Nowhere near that when it comes to being a manager. In 1994 and 1995, he took charge of Mandiu de Corrientes and Racing Club in Argentina with little to no success at either club. Nothing else really happened until about 2008 when he took charge of the Argentinian national team. After winning his first 3 matches in charge, he lost 6-1 to Bolivia in a World Cup qualifying match, equaling the worst result in Argentina's history. This result left Argentina in 5th place in the World Cup qualifying, and they were nearing possible elimination and not qualifying for the World Cup at all. However, they won their last 2 matches to qualify for the tournament. After winning their first 4 games of the tournament, they were embarrassed 4-0 in the quarterfinal by the German national team. Maradona's contract with Argentina was ultimately not renewed. His next managerial stint was in 2017, where he failed to promote a 2nd Division United Arab Emirates club to the 1st Division. After failing to get promotion, he resigned. In 2018, he took charge of a Mexican 2nd Division side, where he failed to get them promoted to the 1st Division and, not to sound like a broken record, ultimately resigned. There you have it, 6 legendary players who were just simply awful managers. There are some other players who could have made this list, however, these are the 6 I wanted to talk about the most. Comment down below any other legendary players who were just complete trash when it came to management. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it and subscribe to Amateur Hour Sports for more content just like this. As well, hit that notification bell so that you never miss an episode. We post 4 times a week. At the end of the day, I believe what I say, and if you disagree, that's okay. See you again next time.